Welcome back to Black Elevators. Rise, inspire, elevate. Jack, you're not black.
You're framing it through the lens of intent. And I also think of it often through the lens of reception and landing places. Country music, for example, has become a safe landing place for former white rappers. Right. Rock music has become a safe landing place. These are sort of pre-existing industry structures that welcome a famous person who got famous. I see the smile. It's great to see. I think I'd like to hear your answer to Joe's question, but also then talk about what I feel is like the radical twist of what you have chosen.
What John's saying is
What is your question?
You didn't retreat. I'll piggyback off what John's saying. John's saying you didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into
I got blacker.
Black music.
Yeah.
Deeper.
I got blacker.
Black music.
Yeah.
Deeper.
I got blacker. That's what he said on the New York Times Popcast. Not in a private conversation, not in a group chat, on record with full confidence. We're going to break down exactly why those 3 words say more about the music industry than any album ever could.
I'm a neo soul junkie. I love the Jill Scotts of the world, the Erykah Badu's, whatever you want to call that genre. That ain't it, bro.
Yeah,
that ain't it. It just
some songs I heard I didn't love.
Let me tell you something. I like Jack Harlow. I've met Jack Harlow. We've interviewed Jack Harlow. Jack is a nice guy. But I told y'all on Friday that this album made him whiter. And saying the music made you blacker is exactly why I said this album made him whiter.
Yeah.
Okay? Because that's something only you got to be really white to say that this music made you blacker.
Charlamagne said it perfectly, and I want to lock in on one specific line. You got to be really white to say that this music made you blacker, because that's not an insult, that's a diagnosis. Here's what he means. A black person who grew up in black culture, raised in black households, saved by black experiences, they would never describe a musical choice as getting blacker because they already know what blackness costs. It's not a sound, it's not an aesthetic, it's a lived experience that starts at birth and never stops. Jack Harlow heard neo soul and thought he was crossing the bridge. He didn't realize that the bridge doesn't work that way. Now let's talk about what the market said, because the market always tells the truth. Jack Harlow's previous album opened with over 113,000 first-week units. Monica, the album he said made him blacker, opened with around 25,000. That is not a dip, that is a collapse. And here's what's interesting about that number. His existing fan base didn't follow into neo soul. In the neo soul community, the Jill Scott listeners, the Erykah Badu listeners, the people he was supposedly speaking to, they didn't show up either, because you cannot claim a community's identity and expect that same community to reward you for it. The culture has receipts, and the culture has standards.
Put her name on the cover. He can't do that.
But
So he got to. So it's really about a chick that he's dealing with.
But at the same time, he's saying he feels blacker.
Yeah, I can't. Cam, I can't defend that. I don't know.
So,
I don't know what made him feel blacker.
So he feels blacker, and the album is called Monica.
he said so he feels blacker. My nigga.
Let's go back. 1956, Elvis Presley is being called the king of rock and roll, but rock and roll was not invented in Memphis, Tennessee by a white kid. It was invented by black artists. Big Mama Thornton recorded Hound Dog 2 years before Elvis. She wrote it, she performed it, she owned it. Elvis covered it and sold 10 million copies. Big Mama Thornton made less than $500 off that song her entire life. Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, a black woman who literally invented electric rock guitar. They built the foundation, they just never got to live in the house. Hip-hop changed the equation, but only slightly. Here's the difference between the artists who got it right and the ones who didn't. Eminem never said he got blacker. The Beastie Boys never described their evolution in racial terms. They understood something critical. There's a difference between being influenced by black culture and claiming ownership of it. Post Malone loves black music. Justin Timberlake built his entire career on it. But the moment you start describing yourself in racial terms, the moment blackness becomes a costume you put on when the sound is convenient, you've crossed the line, and the community notices every single time. Here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. The only reason Jack Harlow felt comfortable enough to say he got blacker on a major platform with full confidence is because black people let him in. We gave him the cookout pass. We put him on our playlist. We defeated him in comment sections. We co-signed him. And that generosity, which comes from genuine place of love for the culture, sometimes get read as an open invitation to ownership. It's not. Being welcomed into a house is not the same as being given the deed to it, and we have to stop letting people confuse the two.
That's all right.
Jack Harlow is not a villain in this story. He genuinely loves this music. You can hear it. But love is not the same as understanding, and understanding is not the same as belonging. You can spend your whole life loving black music, mastering it, building a career on it, winning Grammys with it, and still not be able to get blacker. Because blackness is not a genre you can download. It is not a sound you can master. It is not an album you can drop. It is a lived experience that starts somewhere most people in that podcast room will never begin. 3 words accidentally told us everything. I got blacker. No, Jack, you didn't. Drop the names in the comments of the artists who actually understood the assignment and the ones who thought they did. BlackElevators. We don't just cover the culture, we protect it.